Good afternoon. My name is Russell Wooldridge, and as Director of Business Development for DRI International, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar today. I'm going to be your moderator. This is the latest in a series of webinars that DRI puts on periodically for its certified professionals to bring them up to speed on current events and innovations here at DRI. We've got a lot to go over today, and we've had some technical difficulties to begin with, so we're going to move as fast as we can to get through this very important material. There are very exciting things coming in the next 12 months, and we want you to know what each and every one of them are so that you can be a part of them. Please note that on your screen there should be, usually on the right-hand side, a control pad with a question block. We will not be taking live questions today, but we will be taking questions that you submit through that system. We look forward to your questions, and we'll be handling those at the end of the broadcast. Today, you'll be hearing from a number of people on this webinar, a number of people that are involved in making the events happen in the next 12 months, and we've got a great deal of information to provide you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Mr. Al Berman. Al?
Thanks, Russell. I am pleased and excited to announce all of the changes that are going on at DRI. Our international growth continues to drive our expansion. Just as an example, there are over 22 countries represented on this call alone. Our professional outreach has resulted in agreements with Yale University Hospital, ISACA, Safe America, University of Pennsylvania, NFPA, Applied Science Center for Homeland Security, ACP, CPE, Habitat for Humanity, Second Harvest, the Mahila Project, and many more. Our communications have been greatly enhanced to include upcoming blogs, social media, and our first ever online publication. We have stepped up our charitable giving and volunteerism through the creation of DRI International Foundation, a 501c3 corporation which will have its own board and act independently of DRI International. The foundation's sole mission is to give back to the community. And of course, DRI 2012, the first Certified Professionals Conference. DRI 2012 is the culmination of DRI International's global conference program. For the last 3 years, we've been holding conferences around the globe, from the first ever BCP conference in Malaysia to our most recent participation in the Governance Regulatory Compliance Conference in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which dedicated and entitled one full day of the conference as DRI Day. We continue to sponsor conferences in Europe, Asia, North America, and South America. DRI 2012 is an outgrowth of discussions with certified professionals who have been asking what more DRI can do for them. DRI 2012 is for certified professionals by certified professionals. It is not open to everyone or just anyone. This is for us. You'll attend breakout sessions with people like you, the most senior people from the most prominent companies around the world. The schedule will feature thought-provoking and informative presentations. Senior certified professionals from Microsoft, New York Stock Exchange Euronext, Marsh, RBS Citizens Bank, Booz Allen Hamilton, Pfizer, McAfee, CSC, Goodyear, Best Buy, Chevron, Liberty Mutual, Yale, and so many more. Certified professionals from Brazil, Japan, China, and Singapore will provide a global perspective. Each day will culminate with a panel of expert sessions during which you'll have a chance to see and hear speakers you may have missed during breakout sessions, and ask them the questions you have always wanted to ask. Why New Orleans? We've chosen to hold our conference in New Orleans because of what it signifies. On Saturday, May 19th, the DRI International Foundation will be sponsoring and supporting a day of rebuilding in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity and Second Harvest. Get your hands dirty and help build something of substance. While much of New Orleans is still rebuilding, our conference location, the Roosevelt, recently completed a $145 million renovation and restoration. The most impressive hotel in New Orleans, this Waldorf Astoria Hilton property, dates back to the 1890s and has been the home to Huey Long, Elvis Presley, Ella Fitzgerald, and many other famous figures. The Roosevelt is unique as our event. What better place for our first ever Awards of Excellence formal dinner? For the first time in history, DRI International will recognize organizations and individuals that have truly excelled. This is for New Orleans. This Black Tie Awards function will be preceded by a charity fundraiser and silent auction. Every penny that is raised will be given to charity. This is for charity. As a nonprofit organization, DRI International has invited all organizations to be part of sponsorship and exhibition for the conference. We are pleased with the response we have received. We are particularly pleased that CPM has agreed to sponsor DRI 2012, and we have agreed to be a sponsor for CPM West. For the rest of this program, you will hear from those who will bring these ideas to life, the people who truly make DRI International what it is today. Let me start the rest of the program by introducing our new Director of Communications, who is no stranger to our industry. Buffy Rojas has been a mainstay of business continuity for the last 2 decades. From her work with industry software leader Stroll to her most recent stint as Editor-in-Chief of Continuity Insights, Buffy is known and respected by all. I am pleased and proud to introduce DRI International's Director of Communications, Buffy Rojas.
Thanks, Al. I'm pleased and proud to be part of DRI International, and I'm also pleased and proud to talk to you today about Thrive, our new online publication. First, a little bit about the name. Thrive is a reflection of how we think about business continuity. Business continuity isn't just about helping your organization survive, but also to thrive, and that's what all of you do every day. Our launch date for the publication is September 23rd, and you will receive it via email. The publication is aimed at our audience, DRI certified professionals. There are many fine publications in the industry that deal with business continuity events. This publication is aimed at DRI certified professionals. It will feature features and case studies about industry developments and news, but also will feature information about DRI news and developments, features and case studies that are tagged to our DRI 10 professional practices as well. I'd also like to take a minute to talk about the international component of our name. Thrive, the publication, will have an international component as well. In the first issue, we have 2 articles about the nuclear event and the earthquake in Japan. The first is a first-hand account from a business continuity professional who was there, and the second is an interview with a nuclear power expert who gives some advice to those of you who may have facilities within range of a nuclear power facility. We also have an article on Egypt and the internet outages there and the lessons learned from that experience. Also in our first issue, there'll be an article about Google search changes and what that means for our business continuity vendors. I'd like to take a second now to extend to you an invitation to participate in Thrive. If you have suggestions for articles, if you'd like to write for us, or if you'd like to be interviewed by DRI, please let me know. My email address is drojas@drii.org, and I'd love to hear from all of you. Thanks very much, and back to Russell.
Buffy, let me be among the first to say we're glad to have you aboard.
Thanks, Russell.
One of the things that's going to make DRI 2012 so different is we've gone out and sought senior people in the profession. We've gone out and looked for the real thought leaders and thought-provoking content for our program. One of those people that have helped to make that happen, and one of those people that is going to be speaking for us, is someone who's no stranger to DRI. Dan Newton is the senior program manager lead, managing risk management and business continuity programs for the server and tools business of Microsoft. He's been involved in the business continuity industry for nearly 20 years in various capacities, including the kinds of work that each and every one of you participate in on a daily basis: consulting, conducting impact analysis and risk assessments, program and vendor management, exercise and event coordination, plan development and maintenance. Dan is an important contributor to DRI and has been for many years, first as a commissioner, but most recently as one of our organization's strategic advisors. In this capacity, Dan has led the effort to develop the speakers in the program list for DRI 2012, and we are looking forward to having him participate as a speaker as well at DRI 2012. Dan is an MVCP. Dan, tell us a little about what you're going to be doing next year and why you're so excited about this event.
Hey, Russell. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's just a great opportunity to bring the certified professionals together and attend these sessions that are going to track to the professional's career path and to the continuity program. I think that's one of the things that we've been focusing on, and Buffy's done a great job in bringing the speakers together and getting the content ready to go. So excited to see that. For my particular session that I'm going to be running, it's focusing on business continuity metrics. And this is a beginning session, something for the novice, because one thing we've seen and we've been discussing with the certified professionals for quite some time is just not enough content out there to give them some direction on what they need to go in and look at around metrics. So with the presentation, we're going to go into the common challenges. We're going to define what a BCM professional needs to convey about their program, and also look at the options that are available to bring that message. Then we're going to go into a process of identifying and knowing your audience, demonstrating the value of the metrics that you can bring to your program, and then learning what the term red averse is all about and why you should embrace the red when you're reporting on your BCM metrics. And one of the things I think is going to be a tremendous value and impact to the particular people that are participating in the conversation is that we're going to go through some examples so the participants will have ideas and suggestions and options on how to represent the various elements of their program. It's something they actually can take back, something that's tangible, that they can use as soon as they get back to their particular business and program and start injecting that into their environment. So we're really excited to go and have this presentation, and looking forward to seeing everybody next year. Thanks, Russell.
Not a problem, Dan. Thank you so much. The next person we're going to hear from is another one of our speakers, another person who's developing the program list, another person with an extremely long list of experience and qualification as both a BCP speaker and as a certified professional. Greg Pinchbeck has more than 15 years of experience for consulting firms such as SunGard, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Deloitte, as well as practical experience managing crisis events and international teams of risk professionals for Bank One and JP Morgan Chase. He's currently the Vice President of Resiliency and Recovery at the Royal Bank of Scotland Citizen Financial Group, where he manages business continuity, IT continuity, and work area recovery for their teams in RBS America. Greg is a wonderful speaker and is going to be part of our event in New Orleans at DRI 2012. Greg, can you tell us a little bit about why you're so excited about being a part of this?
Thanks, Russell. As you mentioned, I've got about a 15-year association with DRI, starting with acquiring my certification back in the late 1990s. And most recently, I helped DRI Singapore kick off a speaking series in 2008. So I'm very glad to be a part of this conference coming up in 2012. As Russell noted in my introduction, I've had experience managing business continuity, disaster recovery, and crisis management professionals at 3 large organizations over the past 10 years. During this time, it's been very challenging with regard to the economy, and risk professionals, and particularly business continuity programs, have been required to document and deliver their value. And really, that's what my presentation is going to be focused on at the conference. I'll go back over my 10 to 15 years of experience and talk about some of the areas that I focused on, the discussions I've had with management around the program, and I'll share those with the audience. I'll also leave time during that discussion to get feedback and questions from the audience, but also give the audience an opportunity to share some of their success stories and what has helped them deliver and illustrate value from their business continuity management programs to their organizations. And so that'll be primarily what my presentation will be focused on. Thank you.
One of the things that Al talked about, and one of the things that our certified professionals are already involved in a big way, is charitable giving and charitable efforts. The next 2 people on our program this afternoon are AnneMarie Staley and Jerry Vevon. They're integrally involved in the DRI Foundation. AnneMarie Staley is the Director of Business Continuity Planning for NYSE Euronext. NYSE Euronext, for those of you who don't know, includes the New York Stock Exchange as well as many trading platforms and services worldwide. She's responsible for BCP for the United States. She's involved in setting global policy and strategy for that organization. She was heavily involved in crisis management and the contingency planning process for New York's preparation for this recent little storm, Hurricane Irene, that we all went through. She's a CBCP and a member of the board of directors for DRI. Outside of BCP, she's involved in numerous philanthropic efforts, including working with the Rockefeller Center in numerous regional efforts. It's these efforts that have led her to be an important part of our charitable endeavor, the DRI Foundation. AnneMarie Staley serves as the chairman of the board of the directors of the foundation, where Jerry Vevon is serving as the vice chair. Jerry Vevon is the vice president of the Booz Allen Hamilton Mission Assurance and Resiliency Services. Offerings in that service provide supporting crisis management, integrated strategies and services, risk management, resiliency, with a primary focus on the U.S. government and the intelligence community. AnneMarie and Jerry are both drawn to the DRI foundations through their efforts that provide a spirit of community and a desire to give back to our community. AnneMarie, why don't you and Jerry tell us a little about the DRI Foundation?
Sure, thank you, Russell. Well, we have a couple of very exciting things to tell you about. First of all, the establishment of the foundation was in response to what DRI has identified as a growing disconnect between organizations that have typically responded to events and the people and communities in need of those resources. In a lot of cases, it's simply a matter of communication and people on the ground being aware of the resources that are available to them before, during, and after an event. We all know that the impact of natural and man-made disasters carries with it the uncertainty of not only knowing where that help is coming from, but when it will arrive. For many, the rebuilding after a disaster is just as significant as the immediate disaster itself. So the foundation will partner with aid organizations to give back in the preparation, response, and recovery aspects, supporting disaster management all over the world. And that, of course, will include partnering with non-profit organizations as well as public and other private organizations. To that end, the Foundation's mission is to promote professional and personal preparedness and response and recovery practices through proactive and real-time engagement with organizations, individuals, and communities impacted by disaster and crisis events. Quite a noble and lofty goal, I could say. We do have a growing board of directors, of which I am the chair. As Russell mentioned, Jerry Vevon is our vice chair. And we have a couple of directors on board right now, Michelle Turner and Michael Keating. And there are a couple of other directors who are currently being solicited, and within the next couple of weeks, once we launch the Foundation's website, www.driif.org, you'll be able to view their biographies and read more about the charter of the Foundation. At this point, I'd like to introduce you to Jerry Vevon, who is the vice chair of the Foundation. Jerry?
Great, thank you, AnneMarie. As Russell mentioned, and AnneMarie as well, that we're both happy to be a part of the foundation. It's a great opportunity for us to give back and rely on our expertise. AnneMarie and I are going to be supported by the DRI corporate officers, Al Berman, who's president and treasurer, Clyde Berger, vice president, who's also heading up the volunteer efforts, and then secretary Melissa Smith. Now, the foundation offices are going to be at 1115 Broadway on the 12th floor in New York City. Now, this DRI International Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and funding is tax deductible, and we already have the necessary structure set up. To drive action on the mission statement that AnneMarie outlined, we're going to need a lot of help, but we're also going to need an appropriate level of funding. Now, the foundation is going to solicit multiple public and private institutions, as well as individuals, to receive these tax-deductible donations. And the funding will support not only the administrative needs of the foundation, but the education awareness, development of materials, and of course the next steps of which the foundation will be driving for. Now, we're going to seek two primary sources of funding. The first of which is grants, and that'll be part of institutional giving programs from large organizations, and then private and public donations as well. AnneMarie, over to you.
I'd like to take this time to tell you a little bit about two exciting things that we're starting in conjunction with the Foundation. Is an awards program so that we can annually recognize excellence in the field of business continuity and disaster recovery and risk management. This will be an annual awards program and a gala dinner. The second part is we also, as Al had mentioned, we want to be doing a lot of volunteerism, and our first effort is going to be at the DRI conference in May. Now back to the awards. There's going to be a nomination process which is going to be very simple and should be available on the DRI.org website beginning around September 6th. You will be emailed when you can start that process. You will be able to nominate yourself or someone else for more than one category. We do have 13 categories that cover three broad areas. People, such as Program Leader of the Year for private sector and public sector, Rookie of the Year for those people who are in the business less than 36 months, Team of the Year, and the Lifetime Achievement Award. Our second category is Strategy and Initiative. We will be recognizing Strategy of the Year, Response and Recovery of the Year, Continuity Awareness Awards, as well as an IT Infrastructure Award. And the last broad category we have is Service Providers. We can't forget them. So we will be honoring a Consultant of the Year, a Service Provider of the Year, Planning Software of the Year, and Notification System of the Year. Now, there are two of those awards that will be voted for online. One is the Lifetime Achievement Award, and the other is the Service Provider of the Year. Otherwise, anyone can nominate themselves or somebody else for one or more categories. The actual presenting of the awards will happen at the culmination of the DRI conference on that Tuesday evening. It will be a black tie affair, something to look forward to. There is information that can be found on the website now if you're registering for the conference. And more detailed information, of course, will be coming to an inbox near you in the future. The volunteerism, as Al mentioned, at the beginning of the conference on Saturday, May 19th, we're going to have currently two, we may have more lined up, opportunities for volunteering. One is for Habitat for Humanity. It will be an all-day event. We will provide you with a number of things to get you through that, including a box lunch. And Second Harvest is a lighter volunteer effort, so you wouldn't have to be swinging the hammer, but you will be boxing up food and other relief items for the community. Jerry, back to you.
Hey, thank you. And overall, the industry and the practitioners of business continuity and disaster recovery are going to benefit from the foundation. Some of the benefits include, the communication and sharing of best practices, the connection and facilitation with partners and points of reference. Where do you go for help? Resources as necessary to support disaster management and supporting the good ideas and innovative techniques, and also provide resources for certified professionals and others to volunteer their time and expertise within the communities.
That's right, Jerry. In fact, we've developed 4 core areas to achieve this: preparedness, response, recovery, and community engagement. And preparedness is, you could say, collaboration planning. Preparedness is born out of collaboration and planning. Because, of course, planning at a time of disaster is certainly not as effective as having the relationships already developed and the steps documented during a normal state. Let me be clear. DRI Foundation will not be an aid organization. It will be an organization that recognizes the needs of individuals, businesses, and communities in times of disasters or crisis. And we'll seek to partner with aid organizations across the globe to meet those needs. The first order of business for the board will be to determine the best way to achieve that, and we do have a number of initiatives in the hopper, and we're all very eager to start working on those.
The second core area is response. And by driving preparedness activities, as AnneMarie noted, the DRI Foundation will be in a position to act and act quickly once notified. It's key to note that the Foundation's engagement will be triggered by contact from the aid organizations. Once an event occurs which requires engagement, the key contact from that organization will notify the Foundation chair, and then the foundation will begin its process to engage appropriate contacts and vendors to support that area. And one of the other benefits of the DRI Foundation lies in having connections across the world to enact immediate coordination of activities. The DRI site lists vendors who are certified in the practice of business continuity and understand all the aspects of emergency management. This data will be leveraged as necessary along with other public and private partnerships for the purpose of disaster assistance.
Right, and in the third one that we mentioned, recovery, is partnership again, of course to achieve this without the necessary engagement from partners. Truly recovering and getting back to normal or better will be difficult. And just as the foundation engages with the disaster aid community to identify the need, there will be continued engagement to assist the local community in rebuilding. We intend to have a level of dialogue and engagement with partners, including local and regional first responders, certified BC, DR, and EM volunteers, to leverage the appropriate resources to meet that response and build community resilience development.
And the last core area is the actual engagement with the business continuity, disaster response, emergency management communities. One of the strengths of this industry is in the leadership of the practitioners and you on the phone, of course. To support this and to give back to the industry, the foundation is committed to providing opportunities to recognize individuals and organizations. Through the inclusion of volunteers and the acknowledgement of the significant contributions to the industry through awards, certified forums, and webinars, this will support the education and awareness in areas of preparedness, response, and disaster recovery.
That's right. So we want to thank you in advance for your support of the foundation. The website, though still under construction, will be www.driif.org. You should receive a notification once it goes live. Jerry Vevon and I look forward to working with each of you in support of community resilience development and response everywhere. Back to you, Russell.
Thank you, AnneMarie. I just thought you'd like to know I've got my cups ready. I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
Okay. One of the things we'd like to remind you is that if you have questions, please submit them in the question box on your screen so that when we get to the Q&A portion of this webinar, we'll be able to respond to the questions that you may have on the subject. You know, we've gone over the what, the when, the why, and the where of this event. One of the questions that we've received, and I get in my capacity here at DRI a lot, is how. How are you? DRI is the premier certifying body in business continuity planning, and we've been educating people for 20 years in business continuity planning. But how is it that you're going to be doing a conference? Why are you, the whys and the whens and the wherefores we've done? How is through partnership with one of the premier organizations in conferencing in the United States currently. In fact, the premier organization. ROC Exhibitions is our exhibition partner to get this done. They are well equipped and well prepared to help us provide our certified professionals with the best possible event in May of 2012. And from that organization, we have the president of ROC Exhibitions, Marc Fosenstock, with us to talk a little bit about their involvement with DRI 2012. Marc, go ahead.
Thank you, Russell, for that kind introduction. ROC Exhibitions is one of the leading organizers of trade shows and conferences in the country. We organize the NFPA annual conference, which gives us tremendous experience in the arena that DRI serves. This is a wonderful opportunity for everyone to participate in a new event. Many times we are critics of what goes on in other industry events, and this gives us the opportunity to be authors. We not only want but encourage the input from our communities out there, from both our potential conferees who are going to learn a tremendous amount in our educational program, for our exhibitors who are going to have the enormous opportunity to interact real time with industry participants and participate in an enormous amount of networking events. And as always, we have a tremendous amount of gratitude for the sponsors that have already signed up for DRI 2012. And we look forward to enhancing the relationship with the many companies right now who are looking to participate as sponsors. Using that as a segue, talking a little bit about sponsorship, there are going to be a myriad of events at DRI 2012 that will provide an opportunity for people not only to interact with one another, but to learn the most up-to-date information that exists in today's marketplace. I look forward to seeing all of you there, and I want to give you all the opportunity to call me and let me know what you want this event to be. Thank you very much.
What we'd like to do right now is look at those questions that we've asked you to submit. Al and I and Buffy will try to answer those as best we can. Buffy, what have we got?
The first question is for Al. One of our attendees would like to know about the CEUs or CEAPs that will be given for, if they'll be given for our event.
Before I answer that, I know Marc would love to talk. For those of you who know Marc, it's almost impossible to stop him from talking. But let me talk a little bit about ROC. We came to ROC via NFPA. As you know, we have a great partnership with NFPA. We've had it for a number of years. And the reason we chose ROC was because of the wonderful conference it puts on for NFPA. I hope at some future time you'll actually be able to talk to Marc. Buffy, in reference to your question, CEUs will be given for the conference in accordance with the schedule that's posted on our website, but also we give CEUs for pro bono work, so that they fund Habitat for Humanity and Second Harvest volunteerism will also receive CEUs.
Thanks, Al. Another question that came in, I'm going to grab for myself. This attendee would like to know about speaker topics for the conference. And while we're not announcing our program quite yet, I can share with you some of the topics that are being covered. We have a session on supply chain with emphasis on Japan. We have quite a few case studies. We have sessions from Singapore and Latin America. We have sessions on metrics. Again, Newton spoke to you a little bit about his session on metrics. Also governance, workforce continuity, PS prep are all topics that will be covered, along with data center resiliency, social engineering and IT security, and business continuity for healthcare. So those are just a few of the topics that we have on our agenda so far. I would say the agenda is about 80% filled at this point. If there are any people who would like to speak, are interested in sharing their story, or have a suggestion for a topic, I suggest that you email me. Again, my email address is brojas, B-R-O-J-A-S as in Sam, @drii.org. The next question that we got is perhaps the most important one, and Al, I'm going to head this one your way. It's how do I register?
Regularly and frequently. The interesting thing about the conference is we are actually limiting the number of attendees. We felt that made it too big. We would really not get the essence of what we're trying to do. If you go to DRI.org, you'll see the link to registration. If you have problems, please contact our office. But registration should be easy. One of the things you'll see it asking for is the volunteerism. And if you're going to attend the gala, so please take your attention to the things that you want to participate in.
Get another question just come in. Ms. Attendee would like to know a little bit more about the foundation and how the donations will be collected and distributed.
Again, often and frequently. Now, obviously what we are going to do is set up a link on the DRIIF.org website for donations. We've already contacted a number of charitable foundations and have received positive feedback from them. Collection will be done via donations. It will also be done through a silent auction that will start early next year. We have some unique gifts to auction off and actually some unique experiences. And then it will culminate at the night of the awards dinner. The distribution of the funds will be totally up to the board of the foundation. DRI International will not participate there except as being a donor.
Thanks, Al. I'll go back to you.
Okay, thanks for answering those questions, Al. I'd like to give one more opportunity to Greg if he's out there. Greg, are you able to solve your communication problem? Apparently not. Okay, well, just to do a quick recap, we'd like for you to check your email in and on or around September 23rd for that first edition, your copy of the first edition of DRI's new online publication, Thrive. You'll find valuable information in it to help you with your career and the advancement of your along the road of your certified professional status, as well as important information about the DRI 2012 Certified Professionals Conference and Expo, which will happen next May at the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans. Now, for those of you who are going to be in San Diego on September 11th, we'd like to invite you to extend the invitation for the annual DRI reception to be held at 4 p.m. At the Hilton. We look forward to seeing you there. We'll have information about the subjects that we've talked about today and more information for those colleagues that couldn't attend. As the Director of Business Development, I'd like to thank Buffy and AnneMarie for participating in today's webinar. I'd like to also extend our gratitude to Jerry, Dan, and Al for participating in today's call. Monica Vidor has been our producer today, and we want to thank you, and we want to thank her for the job that she did today. This event has been recorded and is available on our website. Please check the DRI.org news page shortly for the recording of this web event. Share it with your colleagues, co-workers, and fellow professionals. This webinar is concluded. It is a production of DRI International, and all rights reserved. Have a nice afternoon.